Hi, this is John Wentworth. Not all recruiting is equal. Some works well, delivering great candidates on time and for a reasonable price. Other recruiting does not. The difference between the two is how the work is done. The litmus test of good recruiting is getting good hires. What is a good hire? Well, partly it's the outcome, long-term, stable, and productive employees. Partly it's how the getting of those hires fits into the organization. If any of those does not work correctly, good hires will not happen. This is all fine, but who cares? Why is making good hires important? It's important because good hires get you long-term, stable, and highly productive employees. Once you have a good candidate pool, it's up to the hiring manager to pick the right person. The folklore of business is filled with stories of managers hiring their spouse's idiot third cousin because of pressure from the spouse. There are also stories of managers hiring their best friends or just candidates that they like in the interview without consideration of whether or not they can do the job. These stories generally have bad endings. So here are some rules for the hiring decision. First, hire the best from the available pool. This requires looking carefully and rationally at the candidates versus the requirements and making sure that you are picking the strongest overall from that group. Intuition does not get you there. Careful, rational evaluation does. Picking the best from a bad pool does not do you a lot of good. The pool must be good. You might laugh at this, but it occurs again and again that a recruiter will attempt to talk a hiring manager into hiring the best of the group, even though the group is lousy. Typically, this reflects the recruiter being lazy. Sometimes it reflects the recruiting not bringing the reality to the labor market to the hiring manager. Whatever the cause, candidate selection is a time when you can be fussy and picky so long as you recognize what you can have because of skill distribution, compensation requirements, and your reputation as an employer or other factors that drive whether people want to work for you or not. So long as you have a good fix on the labor market, then you should be demanding and unreasonable in getting the best from the market and hiring the best of those. One of the pieces of folklore I mentioned a moment ago concerns the hiring manager who hires people he or she likes without regard to their qualifications. Other folk tales describe hiring managers doing the opposite, hiring new employees who are terrific technically, but who have the people skills of a porcupine. An organization needs to function through human bonds. Your people need to fit your culture and be highly skilled at their jobs, both of those. Sacrificing either can quickly lead to discord, low productivity, and turnover. You will not want every person that you hire to be promotable, but you will want a selection of people who can be made ready to move up to the next job. We will not take time in this presentation to get deep into succession planning, but a disciplined, quantitative approach to candidate and employee evaluation can allow you to make sure that you have the employees who are ready to move up. This can only be so if you have hired individuals with the potential to do this. Some hiring managers see making an offer as a competition, and they want to win. So if they can talk a terrific candidate into taking the job, particularly rather than another company's job, they feel good. And then that person leaves because they didn't really want the job and just caved to the pressure applied by the hiring manager. A deep match between what you want and what the candidate offers and what the candidate wants and what you offer is important. The labor market's awareness of what a company offers also shapes the candidate pool. In this real-life example, the company wanted certain employees whom the company thought looked down on this company and its industry. They asked candidates what they wanted from the jobs. They found out that the company offered everything that the candidates wanted. They rebranded their jobs, emphasizing that they had what the candidates wanted, and suddenly they had no problem filling the jobs. Data and some modest analysis saved the day and got the jobs filled. How do you do all this quantitative work? The key is how you create requirements. You need 30 to 35 requirements per job. They need to cover every aspect of the match between the job and the person, both skills and experiences on one hand and organizational fit on the other. Each requirement needs to be scaled. We suggest 1 to 5. 1 is less than what you want, 2 a little less than what you want, 3 what you want, 4 a little more than what you want, and 5 a lot more than what you want. As much as you can, these requirements need to be behavioral, describing an action that may be an indicator of having a trait or a competency or describing an experience, and single event, so you are only measuring one thing at a time. Throughout this presentation, we have used these Tootsie Roll-like segmented rods. Each segment shows a score for a different requirement. We have reduced, just for simplicity, the colors down to 2. In real life work, you need 3 colors. Light green is 3, just what you want. Dark green is 4 or 5, more than what you want, and red is 1 or 2, less than what you want. You can see that this display allows you to see the candidate pool clearly at a glance. Each, in fact, usually contains a story, which you can draw out from the arrangement of the colors. Why does the best decision matter? Because you can throw away all your good work, wasting all the time and money that went into developing a fine candidate pool by making a lousy decision. The end result of Next Practices recruiting is long-term, stable, and highly productive employees. I hope you've enjoyed this and found it useful. Please feel free to call me at 310-732-2301 if you have any questions or would like to talk about this. Thank you so much. This is John Wentworth. Goodbye for now.